On this episode of Food Finds, it's surprises in your mailbox, all kinds of interesting foods you can have sent to your home. In Cleveland, we'll see how this small bakery uses old-world techniques to make strudels that customers enjoy coast to coast. Join us for surprises in your mailbox on Food Finds. Pinckney, welcome to Food Finds. If you're like me, you like getting a surprise package in the mail, especially if it's something good to eat. On this episode of Food Finds, we're going to take you to 3 specialty food companies that'll ship their products to you or ship them as a gift from you to someone else. Now, we're not talking about just any foods. Wouldn't fresh strudel in your mailbox be a great surprise? And strudels just like this one are shipped all over the country from this bakery in Cleveland. And by the way, if you haven't been to Cleveland lately, you're missing something. The new downtown waterfront on Lake Erie is completely rebuilt around the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the new Cleveland Browns football stadium. But away from the excitement of downtown, there's a lot happening in the city's older neighborhoods, too. This is the North Union Farmers Market on Cleveland's east side. It's a popular Saturday morning destination for people who want fresh produce and some delicious specialty items.
Thank you. Oatmeal raisin cookie.
One of the most popular stops here is a group of tables piled high with all kinds of breads and pastries.
Pop them in the oven. As soon as the topping is hot, the inside will be baked and it's ready to go.
Michael Feigenbaum makes all these goodies about a half-mile from here in a venerable old bakery named Lucy's Sweet Surrender.
This was a historic Hungarian neighborhood. There were approximately 8,000 families. There were meat markets, butchers, tailors, bakeries, restaurants. This was a very thriving neighborhood for the immigrant Hungarian population.
Michael makes all kinds of pastries, and he has a lot of satisfied customers.
Say hi. There's a camera there. No.
But Michael's most popular specialty, and the real reason we're here at Lucy's Bakery, is his fresh strudel.
It's nice and hot. It's very flaky.
This is the apple strudel, but they also make cherry, cheese, apricot, poppy seed, and even cabbage. Michael and his assistants make it just once a week on Tuesdays, and it sells like you'd expect something this tempting to sell. And he sends strudels just like this one all over the country to people who can't do without them.
Then I cover it with the foil. Helps to protect it and keep it fresh.
We'll come back to this in a minute because there's a story to tell about how Michael wound up owning Lucy's in the first place. Michael's a Cleveland native who went away to college, then came back home after graduating from the California Culinary Academy in San Francisco. He started out by opening a wholesale bakery.
And that evolved into wanting a retail store, and I answered an ad. I thought this place had closed.
It hadn't closed, but longtime owner Lucy Ortelicon was ready to sell, and not just anybody. Michael knew all about Lucy and her bakery because, as a young boy, he'd been one of her best customers. Michael says he convinced Lucy to sell him the bakery because he promised to continue her tradition of making these pastries the old-fashioned way.
We've been coming here for what, 30 years?
These customers have to go out of their way to come here, so there's definitely something about Lucy's that brings them back to the old neighborhood again and again. To Michael, that difference is a matter of time and money.
The amount of material that's on there, all the nice nuts and the brown sugar and the raisins, you never see that. That's something only I chose to put on there to, add a premium.
The strudel gets just as much attention. Michael's assistant, Gazella Chukity, starts by preparing the dough. It's a simple mix of flour, egg, shortening, and water. While she's doing that, Michael starts peeling some apples.
What we have is this old machine. It's patented in the turn of the century. It's an apple peeling machine. I'm going to show you how we peel the fresh apples for the strudel and other fillings that we have.
There are more modern ways to do this, of course, but Michael believes these time-consuming steps actually make the end product better. For Gazella, Michael's old-world method is second nature. It's exactly the way she used to do it in her native country of Romania.
For my family, I used to bake every kind of pastry, but we're making here.
Now, with the help of Michael's wife, Monica, who's also from Romania, they prepare the dough for stretching. They have to let it rise just enough and get it to just the right temperature, because the next step is the most critical.
Now we're going to hand stretch the dough. It's, again, a slow, deliberate process. At the beginning, you have to be real careful not to tear it too much.
It takes them about a half hour to stretch the dough over each of 4 large tables. The result is dough so thin you can see right through it. After the dough dries a little, Gazella and Monica start laying down long, straight lines of fillings. Today it's cinnamon apple, cherry, and poppy seed. They add some breadcrumbs to the apple filling to keep it from getting too moist.
Now comes the final rolling stage. This is the fun part. So using the sheet as a guide, she's going to roll up the strudel now, the whole length.
Gazella carefully makes all the apples, cherries, and poppy seeds disappear under layer upon layer of dough.
Now we're measuring to cut the dough into the 3 equal portions. Each one we call a whole strudel. We sell for $10.
Next, the raw strudel goes not to the oven, but into the bakery freezer. Michael says he freezes it first because it keeps the dough from getting soggy. And sure enough, the finished strudel is exactly what he wanted.
A combination of the breadcrumbs and the apples left it baked, but not too moist, so it's not running out. You can see I can pick it right up in my hand and hold it, place it right down on a plate.
Of course, it's impossible to resist hot strudel, especially after you work so hard to make it.
You like the cherry better? I like the apple better. I like the cheese. And she likes the cheese.
And what I like is I can get all of the strudels from Lucy's Bakery delivered right to my door. I just hope my mailbox is big enough.